Tôi đang đứng cạnh ông Carl Robinson, một trong những phóng viên chiến trường kỳ cựu của chiến trường Việt Nam, và nhân đây thì hỏi ông một vài cái điều liên quan tới những cái vấn đề của lần này, nhất là cái liên quan tới cái việc mà Hoa Kỳ, trong đó ông Trump được cho rằng là đã ra lệnh cho các viên chức ngoại giao của Hoa Kỳ ở Việt Nam sẽ không tham dự cái sự kiện 30 tháng 4 lần này. Thì ý kiến của một cựu nhà báo sẽ như thế nào? Mọi người lắng nghe. And do you hear anything about like Trump asking the diplomat not to attend the 30 years anniversary event? You did?
Yeah, I saw the story, yeah.
What do you think about it?
I understand it in a lot of ways. Because 10 years ago, they were not there. Right? 10 years ago, the American diplomats were not there. They just, but this year apparently it's not clear. It's not clear why or how that they were going to take part, right? I think maybe the Biden-Trump administration changed, right? And then Trump said it's better if we don't have people there. I think it was, sorry, I have the notes. I think maybe they want to avoid the image of you shooting the U.S. diplomat and the goose stepping, right? That's the angle you're going to want, right?
All the banners too.
Yeah. So I think it's probably wiser, right, to just say, okay, we'll let them have a party, right? I think that I understand the logic, of the decision. It's better not to just let them have a party. They're going to walk right by the old U.S. embassy. They tore down. Remember when they established diplomatic relations, the first thing that America did was they tore down the old embassy because it was such a bad negative symbol, right? From 75, the helicopters and everything. First thing they did was they tore it down. And in the demolition, I don't know if you remember, 3 or 4 Vietnamese died in the demolishing of that embassy, right? So that was, got rid of that. It's still the consulate, but they still have, so I think that's the first thing they did was get rid of the symbol.
But from there, there are quite a few media, especially New York Times. They say because of that, they blamed President Trump on making making difficult for the relationship between the two countries, destroy the relationship between the two countries. Do you agree?
Oh, I think it's another hiccup, along with the tariff, 46% tariff. But told him he was the first guy on the phone to talk to Trump. He said, "Hey, oh, buddy, what are you doing?" Right? And he said 0 tariffs, right? All ready to talk. We have a new relationship. So, and then Trump, of course, backed off on the whole tariff thing. But at least it got people to look at it.
Right.
I mean, that's a huge, and there is a problem with transshipment. In the Trump one, when the trade with China went down, the trade from Mexico and Vietnam shot up, right?
Actually, Vietnam get beneficial from the tariff.
So so now I think it's a good time to look at it. And I think it's fascinating that the U.S. is the biggest trading partner of Vietnam. That's very ironic, right? And they're shipping, very legitimate stuff, not just transshipment. It's worth looking at what they're sending, like wood, furniture, and all that. That's genuine Vietnamese. Other stuff like footwear and clothing, the raw materials come from China, right? Duty free, right? And the Vietnamese reassemble and put Vietnam on it, right? But Vietnam does not grow cotton. They should have their own importing, right? Because that just makes them oh, you're bringing in from Vietnam and you're assembling it here. So Vietnam needs to find its own sources, right? Wider source for their imports, right?
So
Of the raw materials, right?
So back to the issue of the U.S. attending or not the event, the April 30th event. Vietnam, as they said, they extend their invitation to everyone.
Yeah.
And as you remember, 10 years ago, the U.S. didn't involve.
Yeah.
What about this time? What do you think? You think the U.S. should attend the celebration this time? And if so, how is the most appropriate for the U.S. to involve, and how is the most appropriate for Vietnam to organize with the attending of the U.S.?
Oh, I think Vietnam's already just being relaxed about it, right? They're not making a big deal of it. I think that's the best way, because there's more important things, really.
What about the U.S.? Should they attend or not?
I think it's probably better that they're not, for the image that I mentioned, right? To the image of the U.S. diplomat and the the Viet Cong flag is everywhere now, right? 10 years ago, there's nothing. Right. Now they have the NLF flag has reappeared. That is really something to see that flag. That was VC flag, right? And now it's a bit. I have to laugh at the irony of it.
You're talking about the star flag or the sickle and
no, the red and blue and gold flag.
Oh, I see,
yeah,
yes.
Right. We have not seen that. That was like suppressed along with Viet Cong after '75. They were not treated very well by the North. You know that, right? So all these different waves, right?
So they should not attend.
I think it's more wise not to attend, and not make a big deal of it. I don't think Vietnam's going to make a big deal of it, and that's smart because they got bigger issues. They got to deal with the trade.
Right. The business issue, right?
Yeah.
But also, people like comparing to the 70th anniversary of Dien Bien Phu, where the French really come in and attend.
Yeah, that's interesting because Dien Bien Phu is the only place in Vietnam where they've allowed a memorial from the French. The other one is they allow the Australians to have the cross in Phu Tuy province, right, from the battle. They've allowed that, but the French have handled it very differently.
Thank you so much. We are approaching the place already, so we're going to talk to Carl Robinson later during the trip, and we're going to listen to his story. Very interesting story. One of the prominent reporter in Vietnam war in Vietnam. Say something lovely to my audience, please.
It's good to be here, but I have very mixed feelings, right? My Viet Kieu friends, I hope they understand what I'm here to be an observer, right? And it's fascinating to be back for this.
Great. Hope you have a very, very nice trip coming up. All right. Và bây giờ chúng ta thấy một số xe đã đi để mà đi về ngược lại hướng thành phố Hồ Chí Minh. Còn chiếc này thì sắp sửa đi vào bên trong. Mọi người tiếp tục đón xem.